Yeah, we're back for a reaction on Ben Shapiro rejected Myron's take on marriage.
Yes.
So let's have a look.
Okay. Let's go, man. Let's see it. Let's see what we got.
23, nowadays with inflation, the cost of living, you can't live on one income, and being 24 years old and marrying someone and being able to take care of her and a family in today's day and age, not viable for most guys.
I mean, if you're in the audience, think about all your friends. Who's like that you know? I know one person maybe, and they're divorced now. So it's like, bro, that's hard to find. Just saying.
So, and here's the other thing too about marriage, right? So let me give you guys some numbers, and this comes straight from my book, Why Women Deserve Less, by the way, which all this stuff is backed up with numbers, right? I put a lot of studies in this book, right? So I'm going to go ahead and give y'all the cold hard facts on marriage nowadays with some of these statistics and numbers, okay? Because what Ben doesn't understand is that marriage, right, is not in a man's interest anymore, okay? So marriage is at an all-time low of 5.1 marriages per 1,000 people, half the long-term average going back to 1900. Those who do marry face the same 45% divorce rate that American marriages have suffered in the past. 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women, jumping to 90% if the woman is college educated. And what marriages remain intact only stand a 28.5 chance of being happy ones. Cohabitation is no better, with half of them ending just as marriages do. Family formation is down from 3.6 births per woman in 1960 to 1.64 births per woman in 2020. Okay, and that includes immigrant families who are traditionally have more families. Pre-marital activities such as courtship, dating, and sex are down as well. Your average millennial only gets 1.43 dates per year, compared to 9.3 and 4.7 for Gen Xers and Boomers, respectively. And this says nothing for the younger Gen Z siblings, okay? Women flake on dates about 56% of the time, all right? Data from Tinder Insights show only about 8.6% of people message each other on the dating apps, resulting in actual dates. So that's pretty much a 91.4% flake rate on dating apps, right? And then a percentage of young women who haven't had sex in the past year has increased by 50%, going from 12% of the population to 18%, while the percentage of men not having sex, okay? Yeah, I got the numbers, man. Right? Not having sex in the past has almost doubled, going from 15% of the population to about 28 to 30%. And then male virginity has also tripled, going from 11% of the young male population to 27. Okay? So, and on top of that, guys, right?
He didn't account for 3 or 4 inflation.
Yes. And here's the other thing, too, right? I have a whole chapter, guys, on how women don't like men that much anymore, okay? Well, sorry, excuse me. Most women don't like most men. Okay?
This is all true, by the way, guys. This is all true.
When polled, Gen Z, all right, this is people born between 1995 to 2012.
Hold on, pause just for a second, bro. Yeah, guys, listen, this is all true. This is all true. These are the statistics. He's not, trust me, one thing about Myron, he's not going to... Trust me, if he's gonna cite something, he's gonna cite something.
He's got his stats ready.
Yeah,
he's ready there in his book.
Yeah. Let's go ahead.
So he made a book called "Why Women Deserve Less."
Yeah.
I still need to read that book. I just love the title of the book anyway.
Serious.
I think forget the title, but I'm sure he's got. I know how he argues. You see what I'm saying? Like, and he argues with statistics and so on. And
okay,
you get me. So yeah, go ahead, bro. But yeah, go ahead.
Men, 7th place behind travel, career, education, experiences, and starting a family. So men are at almost the bottom of the totem pole. All right, when it comes to marriage, and then. Millennial women, right? Women in my age range, they're born 1981 to 1996, who aren't even hot anymore like that, okay? Still rank finding a man at 4th place behind careers and education.
And God forbid you make less money than them, you're screwed, bro.
So why do I say all this, okay? And this, and we haven't even talked about how alimony, 90% of it is paid from men to women. We haven't even talked about how women in general initiate most of the divorces. Why I mentioned that before, but women don't like men that much, guys. The dating landscape in general has changed significantly thanks to the internet, social media, dating apps, the amount of options that women have nowadays. So the thing is that what Ben is saying, get married young, have a family, all that other stuff, it sounds good in theory, right? In an imagination world
back in the day,
right? Maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. But nowadays, that's a big
nope.
It's going to lead to a...
Was it? And this is where Myron is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Where he failed completely. And I hate to say it, man. It's a shame because... what he's describing, what he's literally describing, is a failed society, a failed country, a failed Western world. That's what he's describing. He's saying that things have become so bad, so degenerate, right? That guys, you're not, like he said, this is not back in 1950s, guys. You see what I'm saying? Where girls used to be virgins, where they used to have families, where you could have a good family. Do you see what I'm saying? Like where people had morals because, well, before 1950s, people used to be more Christian than they are today. Do you see what I'm saying? They used to abide by the religion more than they do today, right? Okay, so he's basically saying that the market has changed. Do you see what I'm saying? True. So you have to basically be realistic about the kind of market that you have to operate realistically, on that market.
With the options you have.
Yeah, with the options that you have. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. My question is this. What's your motivation? Is your motivation to save the country and save the world and make a change? Or is your motivation to say, you know what? It's not my fault why things got this bad. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to help the situation. I'm going to be smart in the situation and get what I want to get from it, and that's it. Because to me, what I'm coming from, we need to change this. The Western world needs to go back to how it used to be. Because if we carry on like this, we are leading towards self-destruction. Yeah. If we carry on as we are carrying on, or what the red pill is advising men to do will literally lead to the destruction of Western civilization, period.
Yeah, because that's what I need to know. Like, what's the end goal?
Yeah, what's the end goal?
So, he's giving lots of statistics.
Yeah, but the end goal, the end goal, he's saying don't get married. Don't get married, so and he's giving the statistics for
what's
it.
What's the alternative? What? Just don't get married and just
No. He says don't. Well, he'll say later, but he says don't get married until you're 35. You've had 50 bodies.
Oh wow!
Hold on. It's the 50 bodies that Ben Shapiro had a problem with him about.
Yeah,
it's the 50 bodies. He was. I'm like I said to you last time on
most
my
of it
problem
is
red pill.
reasonable.
I'm all for the red pill, bro. Like when it comes to self-development, becoming, having money, make sure you're in good shape. I'm with the red pill on that. Every man should be doing that, period. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm with the red pill on that. My only problem is you're telling men to be promiscuous because not getting married, and he's saying, and the argument that he has for it is actually a good argument. Do you see what I'm saying? If you're not trying to help the Western world improve, you know what I mean? He's basically saying, guys, listen, these girls are more promiscuous than you are. These girls will take advantage of you. These modern women are bad. You have to protect yourselves. Do you see what I'm saying? At face value, it sounds good. It sounds like a good, I'm going to protect myself, I mean, 80%, they divorcing at 8%, what I'm saying? Like, rate, like, I have to protect myself. Do you see what I'm saying? So at first, it sounds good. Do you see what I'm saying? Protect myself. Yeah, exactly. Sounds logical, right? But when it comes to the bigger picture, do you see what I'm saying? Where the Western world will be in 100 years from now, what he's actually doing is actually helping feminism help women become more promiscuous. And what's happening now with the red pill is helping men become more promiscuous by telling men don't get married. All right,
until 35.
Add to the promiscuity, the very same promiscuity that helps women become this bad, is what he's advocating for men to become like.
Yeah, he's suggesting these statistics that he's quoting, and personally, this was very difficult to listen to. I don't like, because he's presenting the argument it is doomed from a religious moral perspective, and it'll always be doomed, which is a defeatist mentality that he's projecting, which I don't agree with. So statistics aren't static. That's one issue that most YouTube people that just pull out stats in basic arguments produce. The statistics are what they are, but you can alter them because you are a variable. Your actions determine how things carry on.
Yeah, every human being is an absolute variable. I completely agree with that. But what I'm saying, instead of saying, men, listen,
I agree with you.
Listen. Instead of telling men, listen, you have to pick the right woman. You can't pick a modern woman no more. If she's not a virgin, don't pick her. Yeah, if she needs to be a virgin, she needs to have a moral foundation. She needs to be traditional. She needs to be all of these things. Okay, if the woman is not like this, stop watching porn. Stop funding the sex industry. Stop basically helping society become as bad as it has become. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They say all that. They do say all that.
No.
That's part of it. Yeah, that's part of his advice.
They say don't watch, guys. You shouldn't be watching porn. It's absolutely right. Don't watch all of that. Do you see what I'm saying? But
50 bodies is worse.
Hold on a second. But by saying a man needs to sleep with 50 women, you are adding to the very promiscuous cultures that's creating this type of women. Yeah, that's what he's adding to by telling men be promiscuous as well. But he's saying it from look, listen, guys, you got to protect yourself, and you have to know how these modern women operate. Instead of saying no, raise your standards as a man, raise your moral standards as men, and do not accept modern women with their modern values. Go back to listen, guys, we have to make a sacrifice, because if anyone's going to change anything, is men. Women ain't going to change shit.
And it's not their responsibility.
Taking that in mind, I think he's just being realistic on how the women are in society these days. It's like you have to be one step ahead of them to be able to handle them. So I think he's being realistic rather than living in a fantasy kind of.
I would say he's more opportunistic than realistic. It's keep up with these women and their inability to make commitments and be appropriate wives by being in a position where they cannot because he says 50 bodies, so they can't manipulate you. Why would you want to be with a woman that can manipulate you? Why would you accept that as a standard?
I think most women can manipulate. I think that's part of their inherent nature. Is that they need to be able to manipulate. It's a survival thing. They're
manipulative,
got it inbuilt.
or putting their interests first. Because if a woman puts her interests first, that she'd rather have you out of the house working than, I guess, whatever it may be. Well, what's the objective? Is it to establish a household? Then it's fine to have a give and take, because it's really becoming a situation where marriage and relationships are becoming some sort of grand chess game.
So what I'm saying is this:
it could be wrestling, more like judo, a bit of fun.
Men are complaining. Okay, then don't add to the promiscuity.
But he's not telling them. He's teaching them to survive in the situation where there's a lot of promiscuity. Like. He's taking it from a point of view where, look, I can't change the world, but this is a way that you can follow where you've got more of a chance to survive.
And I'm coming from the perspective of we need to save the world. I'm coming from the perspective of if you want the future to be different, you have to be the change today. You see what I'm saying? I'm coming from that perspective, because guess what? Yeah, if I follow Myron's thing, I'll be fit. I'll have all the money, and guess what? I will just bang chicks and get what I want out of it. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I'm being realistic to what the situation is. But in the end, what has that done? That hasn't helped society. That hasn't helped change anything. The thing is, I'm gonna die, and I had my fun. But guess what? My son will deal with the same problems, if not even worse, because guess what? I went up there and banged 50 chicks. And you know it's never going to be 50 chicks. If you're banging 50 chicks, it's going to be more than 50 chicks. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? It's never going to stop. Yeah. And don't get married. The biggest message, don't get married, right? Bro, if I'm not married, how do you think I'm going to satisfy my urges?
Don't get married.
Myron said he's going to have more than one woman. Actually, he said he's going back to his own country where there's some moral standards there, and you can raise families and so on. So basically, I'm sorry to say, but F the West. I'm going to have my fun here. And then I'm gonna raise my family back there. Come on, bro.
He doesn't say don't get married full stop. He says don't get married until you've got these checkpoints. And I think they're good checkpoints.
Yeah, he needs to like include.
Part of the problem is a lot of men do want to get married and they rush into it. Yeah. And there's all kind of problems that can happen.
No, he says avoid marriage with the state. If you can have it, or if you can have a religious marriage, Have that instead.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Because you say
get married.
He's also,
but if you can avoid it, if you can get the state out of it, then do that. Yeah. That's what he says. But in the West, you can't get married without the state being involved. You just can't.
It's not functionally a marriage. Yeah,
it's not really what it wanna. Yeah, exactly.
Having said that, he's trying to. And I think you wanted to say something,
especially in Christianity. Yeah,
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, when you mention this guy and his beliefs, like, I was under the assumption that he doesn't believe in marriage, or he's telling guys not to get married. But Mo's got more information. Mo's saying, no, 35. Get these checkpoints.
There's checkpoints.
Yeah, so you got to give the whole picture of the scenario, because I was with you, and then when he said his point, I was like, okay, I can see if that's the bigger picture.
He's done a few things that I don't like as well. He's presenting the idea to fortify yourself up until an age where you cannot be taken advantage of or manipulated.
Yeah,
like he's presenting marriage as war. It really isn't. It's ideally, and if you lose out in a marriage, you're no one special. The greatest of men have difficulty with the best of wives. Yeah. So they're going to say they took half your money and stuff, but that's a legal issue, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
He's putting them to the point where they may not be fortified, they may be imprisoned.
Yeah.
By their own desires, this methodology of perfecting yourself, and he goes on to make crazy demands of I don't want to say too, but I don't agree with the majority of his views. I see his show as way more of a problem than it is a solution.
Yeah.
Having said that, what else is there? What do they say? These women are on this show. These women are stupid. They have this Disneyland perception of reality,
and they are stupid. They have Disneyland, bro.
Anybody who listens, any young man who listens to this guy for too long will have a Nickelodeon or whatever Cartoon Network perception. What does he say? Most women don't like most men. When throughout human history have women liked men that much? In most cases, it was circumstantial. It was the culture. It was you getting married as. I swear to you, if I look in the 1950s or the 1850s or 1600s or whatever it may be, there will always be men and women bickering, whether it be through poetry or whatever. It's this movie that he's presenting it was better back then than it is now.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, murder wasn't invented in 1997.
No.
Nor was adultery.
But
was rape.
To his defense, he's basically saying that today, because women are divorcing, because of the women initiate 8% of divorces, because women initiate most of breakups, because of this is women initiating all of this. This is not men. Because of that, I understand. I agree with that. But when I say, just to go back to a point that I'm making, right? When I say he's not advocating for marriage, it's because if you're red pill and you get married, you just lost. Because guess what? The whole idea is, don't get married because of what? She can take half, alimony, all of these things, right? All these problems that come with getting married.
And you've also developed yourself to being some sort of sex monster.
You're creating the very same problem that produces the type. And women are followers. Women ain't going to change nothing.
And they're referred to as bodies.
Bodies.
As I know where the original term comes from, but these are women that are bodies in a sense in the graveyard of opportunities. So you produce 50 women that are undesirable, and then now you're marrying the desirable one, and then wait a minute, don't women choose 1% of? Well, you're making yourself the 1% and making us the 99 with this nonsense. You're producing a competition that nobody benefits from, besides a select number of people, and it's a competition that humanity doesn't benefit from. As a collective,
there will always be a 20%.
It's a race to the bottom. It's a race to the bottom.
Go ahead, bro. Push back, bro.
I think what he's saying makes perfect sense, and it's the perfect advice if you survive to survive in the world today.
So you agree with the 50 bodies?
Yeah.
No. Wait. But so what happens? So you date a woman, sleep with her, break up with her, do it 50 times. So now you got 50 women with the heart broken that might not trust the next man. Like the behavior. The attitude is kind of
no, but what
it's kind of
he's presenting an argument of reacting to the current circumstances.
The current circumstances which is happening in the women that we have today.
Okay,
and that most of them are not traditional. Is that you're gonna have to sleep with them to deal with them.
Okay,
to know them, to interact.
I'd rather take the approach of rejecting 50. than taking 50 bodies.
Society will change if will change for the benefit of everyone, and if you follow what he's saying, it will change for the better. So the problem is you've been triggered by the 50 bodies bit. And another part of the problem is that men haven't really worked on themselves and built themselves up to the standard that he's talking about.
Yeah,
you're looking past that. Wait, hold on. That you're looking past that as a massive problem in society today, which is men. Yeah. Men have become too weak. Men have become simps.
Facts.
And he's battling that, and he's giving the advice for men to become better and to benefit society.
I'll tell you why I'm not. Hold on. I'll tell you why I'm not triggered by the promiscuous comment, because the problems that we have in today's society is because of promiscuity. Is because of the sexual liberation movement by feminism in the 1960s and 1970s. Is because of the abortion laws that were passed, which allows women to be promiscuous and then go and kill the baby. Is because of the pill and so on. Promiscuity is what most men, what do they talk about mostly on their show? Body counts. Okay.
What with the women?
It's not
with the women. No, with the women. With women.
It's not even physical health for the benefiting the individual. Is to be a better potential mate to attract more women. The problem with this statistic of women aren't as good as they used to be, and promiscuity is just by expressing it as a certainty, as a reality, solidifies it. The individual is as much of their circumstance is. What's the word? It's malleable to you as an individual and as you wish. For example, you as an individual, your actions alter reality to a certain extent. To say no would encourage somebody else to say no, would encourage somebody else to say no, and it all of a sudden becomes a collective, and there's a shift. There's a sinking ship. We could all say, oh, the ship is sinking. It's going to sink. We say, no. You see me take action, then another will take action, and another will take action. And it's
when they pull up women's Instagrams and they say look what kind of you're not wife material, you're not this, you're not that. They literally shame them for that, and I think
they want to be shamed.
Listen, I'm sorry, but I agree with shaming. I'm all for shaming. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we need to become better people. But what I'm basically saying is they literally shaming them for that. But most of the show is based on women being so promiscuous to the point where they can't be wifeable no more. They're not wife material anymore. So what I'm saying, promiscuity is the issue, is literally what has led to the problems that we currently have right now. This is why the abortion rate is so high. This is why women don't listen. They have the egos that they have.
Because what Ben doesn't realize is that women are 1,000% incentivized to not make it work with their guy. They actually benefit from breaking up with you, especially within the confinements of marriage. Now, where does that leave us? We've established that women don't like men that much. Marriage is a very risky proposal for men, right? Because men take all the risk. Women get all the benefits, right? You can't tell me a benefit that a man receives from marriage that he can't get in a regular relationship, right? Tax benefits, is that really? No, because when you actually look at what you're risking, it's not worth it.
Minuscule.
It's minuscule.
Yeah.
So I tell guys, you have to have these things in place so that, number one, you're more attractive mate in the first place, so it lowers your chances of being divorced. And on top of that, when you've had sex with 50 women, it allows you to be a good assessor of female character. Now, let's run that clip one more time.
Facts.
Here we go. And guys, Rumble's down.
I say all the time.
Run it back to the end later.
He's
Elmo. Let's kill the Rumble streams there, Mo.
That was my next question.
All right, so let's play this clip back.
Cool.
All right, and then enlarge it. I say all the time, in today's day and age, you shouldn't be getting married until you're at least 35.
That was my next question for you. As a man, what age should you consider getting married?
So I have, this is my thing that I tell guys. I think 35 years old, had slept with at least 50 women, 100K per year, you're in shape, and you got 6 months to 1 year of savings.
All right, done. I got to get married. I've done all that. That's easy.
Here's the Republic right there. So that is a recipe for a terrible marriage, by the way, guys. Waiting until you're 35 and have slept with 50 women, that is a terrible recipe for marriage by every available data point. It turns out that you are much better in terms of getting married if you get married younger, if you do not have a wide variety of sexual partners.
Yeah. For women, not for men. Okay? And that's a very important distinction. Women lose their ability to be in happy long-term relationships and marriages as they have more sexual partners. Men do not. Okay, let's keep rolling the clip, and I'll show you guys the proof of that here in a second.
If you do not have a wide variety of sexual partners, all the stuff about, being in shape and having money and all the rest, you should try to do that, generally speaking. But this notion that you wait until you're 35, you've already made a bevy of mistakes that have shaped your character and made you much more rigid as a person.
It's actually better to make those mistakes without the confinements of marriage, so okay, I don't match and I'm not compatible with this type of girl. Okay? It makes you a better assessor of character, because when you have an abundance mindset and you've been around women, you understand what works, what doesn't work. And again, remember, guys, I want to make this painfully clear for everybody, all almost 10,000 you guys watching. Men take all the risk when it comes to marriage.
Yep.
Period.
As they should.
Okay? You're the one that's putting your money on the line. You're the one putting the ability to see your children on the fucking line. You're the one that's going to have to go to divorce.
Well, women take the risk with sex,
most
though.
of the time and pay the alimony. So the reason why I'm saying you need to have a good idea of female nature and have had sex with multiple girls is because guess what? When you have sex with the girl, the game is over. You get to figure out who the fuck she really is for the most part. And it allows you to understand, okay, this is what women like. This is what women.
One first criticism. I've got so many criticisms of everything that he says, but it's difficult to remember. But the one that comes to mind is have sex with multiple women to be a better assessor of character. The best way to assess character is to have character.
Yeah.
You don't need to be selling drugs to know that selling drugs.
Yeah.
You don't need to associate with drug dealing to know drug dealing is bad. You don't need to commit murder to know murder is not a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this, that, and the other. Okay, you can take approaches to defend yourself against harm, but you can do that in isolation, not being involved in whatever debauchery that he's encouraging.
But hold on, he's talking about the modern. He's talking about the Western world, the state of the Western world. And he's talking,
you have to be able to handle morality. Like, no morality, but no morality. You could choose. You can find a better woman.
He's not bringing morality. He's not bringing morality into this, though.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
What he's basically saying is, this is the reality, guys, and this is how you operate within this reality. This is how. Hold on. So that you don't get taken advantage of, you have to understand this. He actually says it's a deregulated sexual marketplace. That's the word. That's what the word. And he's right. He's right. It's a deregulated sexual marketplace. He's absolutely right. Because of feminism, of what feminism has influenced people to do. People no longer, girls are no longer virgins before they get married. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why I'm bringing morality into this, and I'm saying,
one, in relation to your point, yes, you can always see the wood for the trees when you start looking. Mm-hmm. If you have moral standards, you'll see them. You'll see a woman who works. If you be a man of God, you'll see women of God. Right?
Yeah.
And second,
most people today know.
You don't
need to sleep
but he's talking to those guys.
Those guys, I don't know. I feel sorry for them.
He's trying to help those guys out. What did you have to say, Mo? Before we move on to something else.
I think what he's saying is 100% correct. Good advice. If I was a younger guy, I would suggest all the younger guys to follow exactly what he's saying. Protect yourself in this modern in this modern world, and listen to Myron, and you'll be all right. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, this is the Solution Podcast, guys, man. We're going to get into another reaction, man. Yo, see you next time. Stay tuned always.